Yud Aleph Nissen, Tavshin Lamed Beis, 1972, was the Rebbe's birthday, his 70th birthday. He surprised everybody. He made a public announcement that what he wants as a birthday present are 71 new institutions. I was sitting by the Farbrengen then, and I heard what the Rebbe said, and I thought to myself, there is no such thing as a Baal Tshuva yeshiva for women. If women want to learn, adult women, and they were already, at that time, it was after the 70s, there was a very big awakening towards Yiddishkeit, and many, many women were searching Yiddishkeit. And there was no place to learn. I had started a class a few months before in my house under the auspices of the Sheikh Chabad. Originally, they started classes on Montgomery Street, eventually came to my house, and I've been teaching women since basically Cheshbon, which was a few months already, and we had a shir in Halacha and Chassidus, and I realized that women were becoming unbelievably from this combination of these two things. And I felt there was a very, very big need for a yeshiva for women. Hadar Torah existed already many years. Rabbi Jacobson, Alav Shalom, started it. Later on, Rabbi Hecht took over. And there was, like I say, nothing for women. Therefore, when I was sitting back to Farbrengen and listening to the Rebbe asking for 71 institutions, I thought this would be a perfect thing. The Rebbe would probably want yeshiva for women because we know what the Rebbe was very into the education of women, and he knew that that was the secret of assimilation, is the education of women. It took me a while to basically get the courage to ask the Rebbe. I was 21 years old, the mother of two little kids, to ask the Rebbe whether or not an institution like that would be something the Rebbe would want to undertake as one of the 71 institutions. Eventually, I wrote the letter closer to the summer. And I got the answer before the summer, so I guess it was a little before that. The Rebbe gave me an answer. I asked whether or not it's an idea to open up Ke'ein Hadar Torah, like Hadar Torah, but for women, a place for women to learn. The Rebbe's answer was she'achrayuto v'gam chashivus v'ulai gam chashivus shel mosad kazeh yoser asher mibanim. The institution, its responsibility, and perhaps its importance is greater than for men. And the Rebbe went on and gave a few hurrahs there. The Rebbe said I should take in somebody from Sheikh Chabad, from the Presidium of Sheikh Chabad, and that's how Leah Klein got involved. And the Rebbe said that it's not time to open a dormitory as of yet. And the Rebbe gave 3 hurrahs. Number 1, L'tzaref Mishim Sheikh Chabad, to bring somebody in as a partner or with me, to work with me, which is from the Presidium of Sheikh Chabad. Livdok b'chavruta tetev, to be very careful who has chavruta with who. We understood it not only to be learning, but who's going to be rooming with who, and who's going to be, and what places people go for Shabbos, who the mashpiyim are, etc., etc. And the next part was adayin lo pnimiyah, we should not yet open up a dormitory. Eventually there was another hurrah, which was very important, that the Rebbe says that we should make sure we teach halacha every single day, because people come at different times, and halacha is extremely important for them to learn. Halacha is yem. Immediately after this was like a shock for me at that time, because the Rebbe had a vision, obviously. Here I'm this, young mother, and I definitely loved education and felt like I could run a school and could open up a school. It wasn't a problem. But the concept here was, it wasn't only a school. Eventually there's going to be a dormitory here. The Rebbe had a very, very large vision here, far more than I thought. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but okay, Rebbe, you want it, in Ritz Hashem, it's going to happen. We opened a school on Eastern Parkway and Albany, which was near where Chanoch Lanar was. There was a shul there. I don't remember who it was. And they let us use it between Mincha and Maariv. We had classes on Sunday, and originally 2 days a week, and eventually 4 days a week, 4 nights a week. We had people coming from all over. A lot of people were looking for spirituality, and they went to the Far East. Many girls had hitchhiked from California to here, and from the Midwest. And people were looking for Yiddishkeit. They were very, very thirsty. So when the school opened up, like very, very soon, It's filled up, and we had, by the end of the year, we had close to 70 students, if not more. Leah Klein and myself opened up the school, and Esther Blau joined us. She was the first secretary. And a little bit, and the Rebbe wanted to get a duch all the time of what's going on there in the school. Short time after we opened up, I don't remember if it was in Cheshvan or before, or even in Tishrei, we wrote to the Rebbe and asked whether or not we could be zeicha maybe to call the name of the school on the name of the Rebbetzin. And the Rebbe's answer was, L'chakos ad shi'espases ktsas. We should wait until it's a little more established. A few months later, we wrote to the Rebbe and we asked whether we can call it Chana, Beis Chana, or Machon Chana. Chana meaning the acronym of the 3 mitzvahs of the woman, Beis Chana, thinking about the warmth, or Machon Chana. And the Rebbe chose Machon Chana, thinking that, in other words, basically letting us know it's not only a house, it's a home, but it's a meisid. And the Rebbe wanted it to be a big meisid. The Rebbe was involved in every single detail, especially after the name was given. What's very interesting is that the simcha and Chabad and the excitement when the name was given was incredible, and everybody wanted to have a part of it. People called me to offer to teach. The first year we did not pay our teachers. It was just an exciting thing to teach in Machon Chana. It was a school where people wanted to learn. And not like the regular schools. Basically, when a class was over, the girls asked, can you please stay a little longer, teach us a little more chassidus, teach us a little more halacha, teach us whatever it may be. And so it was something that people really appreciated, besides the fact, and the bigger thing was, of course, teaching in Rebbe Tzachana school. If the Rebbe gave it the name, and it meant a lot to everybody. On the first brochure of Machon Chana, we wrote that Machon Chana is a home away from home. And the Rebbe answered, it's bayis cham u'mo'ar. We should add those words. It's a warm and lighted home away from home. The Rebbe was involved in every single detail, editing whatever editing the brochure, and like I say, and constantly having duchs. I don't remember if every week, every month, the Rebbe wanted a duch of exactly how many girls came and what was being taught, etc. The care the Rebbe gave to the school was incredible. All the years when a girl went by the Rebbe to get dollars, the Rebbe gave her an extra, with smile, an extra $1 in many cases. When a parent came, it was the same thing. The Rebbe thanked her for sending her daughter to Machon Chana. During that summer, we went off to camp. Rabbi Hecht kindly opened up next to Camp Amuna a place, and we ran a place together. And after the summer, and at the end of the summer, I wrote to the Rebbe, and I asked. One of the haras that Rebbe had given was that we should pay teachers the way we pay in the highest colleges. Here, we were not paying teachers at that time at all. Like I said, it was all volunteerism. And Rabbi Chazakov was paying the monthly bills, which were no more than $600-700, because everybody was volunteer. And so I realized at that point we do need a dormitory. And we had seen this beautiful home on President Street, 1367 President Street. And I realized the time had come. So we wrote to the Rebbe about this building, and the Rebbe's answer, and I got an amazing answer, because I said, where are we going to get the money for the building and to start paying teachers, etc. An answer came out on Yud Beis El Tov Shalamed Gimel. The Rebbe wrote there were 2 important points. Number 1, that all in Chava is very important. I asked the Rebbe about this building on President Street. The Rebbe said that we need everything, it should be a Chava, and it's Gam Nochotz, and underlying Nochotz is very important. Makam Halimut, Hadira, when it comes to the place of learning, and the dormitory. Which bayit is best? We should ask Yedidim Evinim. Al derech zet tzarich liyos gam b'negei b'klos hashtel shel ha'maisid b'kamas of eichos. Rebbe writes this should be the general shtel of the institution, both b'kamas and eichos. We should look into there should be mukar idei ha'maisis. It should be accredited, and it should have programs, etc. And at that point, the Rebbe suggested maybe taking in Rabbi Hecht if our relationship during the summer was good. And if yes, we should continue on, and he should take care of all the inyanim that have to do with achnasis and harishmiut, making it official, and all the things that have to do with money. because it might be Nel Echad Mel Mei. In other words, whatever he's doing in Adar Torah, should be able to do here as well. The second thing the Rebbe said at that time was to look as far as into the Indian of doing something of Vav Tishrei. This was an answer where to get the money and what to do about the building. The Rebbe writes there that Tachnis for campaign b'negei l'ruchnius or gashmius eishneim, to have a proper campaign spiritually and physically and materially, to look for somebody that can do it. And the Rebbe basically said, Shua Barov Yoetz, I should take in different people and ask for eitzes for how to do it. We had a beautiful dinner for Vav Tishrei. It was at that time, it was in Young Israel. It used to be the Young Israel. And the place was packed. Everybody felt extremely touched by the fact that this was the Rebbe's Meisid. This was the first woman's Meisid that was opened up by the Rebbe himself and named after the Rebbe. And even though there were maybe others in other cities, this was the first one in Crown Heights that was called, named the Rebbe. One Friday night, the girls were not there because we only have one Shabbos in the dormitory. All the others were by families. There was a knock on the dorm parents' apartment, which is on the first floor of the dormitory, and they opened it up. It's Friday night. They just made kiddush. They had a guest and a baby. The Rebbe standing in the doorway. You can imagine the shock on their faces when they saw the Rebbe standing in their apartment. And the Rebbe said, "Shabbos, I'm sorry for disturbing you, but you left the doors open." It seems like the doors were not, at that time we weren't very careful with locking up the dormitory, and the Rebbe was very worried. So the Rebbe stopped by on the way home from shul. He went out of his way, because usually the Rebbe went up Brooklyn Avenue. I'm not sure if it's Brooklyn or Kingston now, but the Rebbe turned came to the dormitory, and he warned them to please keep the door closed for the future. He was worried about his daughters, about the girls. I had the schus that the Rebbe called me to come and take for the girls in Machon Chana. These were his daughters, and he worried about them. For every Yom Kippur, I used to rush to 770, and the line stopped whenever they were up to. I came from the front door. All the lines came up from the basement or wherever they came from. The other side, I came in straight through Merkis, and as soon as they told them that I arrived to get lekach or matzah from Machon Chana, the Rebbe stopped the line to give me lekach and matzah. One year when the Rebbe was walking to Machon Chana, after he visited all the other places, the Rebbe says, Yetzkei Chaim. Till now, basically, I went visiting to the other meisters. At this point, I'm going home. Machon Chana was Rebbe Chana's home, and Rebbe was going home.